Hello everyone and welcome to the live stream. I hope that you're all doing good tonight. We have some breaking news to talk about, some brand new topics that have been announced today, some follow-ups to previous topics that I've discussed, and some rumors. I hope that the volume's all good. The volume should be good. It appears to be good. Hopefully. Tonight we're going to be talking about the PlayStation 5 and the 3080 series. Disasters. The 3080 launch and the PlayStation 5 pre-order situations were a complete disaster. I know that tomorrow, when this is live tomorrow, the Xbox pre-orders will be going up. Hopefully that will go better. Microsoft's kind of been talking about how terribly the PlayStation pre-orders went, and Microsoft is hoping to do a little bit better when it comes to the pre-order situation. But we're going to talk about the PlayStation 5 and the 3080 buyouts, how a bot bought dozens of RTX 3080 units before consumers could grab them. We're going to be talking about rumors about Pedro Pascal quitting filming The Mandalorian Season 2. Halfway through production. This has been a rumor that's been circulating for, I don't know, a week or so now, and I was kind of hoping for a little bit more confirmation, and we've kind of gotten it at this point. Obviously, The Mandalorian is a huge series. I'm someone who loved The Mandalorian Season 1. I thought that it was really good, and I'm looking forward to The Mandalorian Season 2, which is supposed to be launching in October sometime. I'm not exactly sure. I know it's towards the middle of October. We're supposed to be getting that. We are going to also be talking about the brand new announcement that was announced today about how Xbox has purchased ZeniMax and Bethesda. This is giant news. Microsoft has acquired ZeniMax Media, which does include Bethesda and all of its companies. We're talking about franchises like Dishonored, Wolfenstein, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Doom, Starfield, Evil Within Prey. I mean, we are talking huge names, and not for a cheap amount either. They paid a pretty penny for this. That's for sure. So those are the topics. Oh, one more. We're also going to be talking about rumored Spider-Woman director Olivia Wilde excited to reframe superhero stories and infuse the genre with a female perspective. It was confirmed that she is going to direct some sort of Marvel movie going forward. We don't know what movie exactly. There have been rumors about which franchises she may direct. Apparently she's just supposed to be directing one, but apparently how she wants to infuse the superhero genre with a female perspective, which coming from a female doesn't sound very promising. Unfortunately, when infusing something with a female perspective, that usually is not that positive, at least over the past couple of years with entertainment and movies and so on. But welcome everyone to the stream. I hope that you guys are doing well. We will start the topics in just a moment. I just want to give everyone a couple of minutes to get in here and chat with you all for a few. Another reason to jump to PC for me, same games as Xbox and no online charge. I'm a huge PC gamer. I've talked about it plenty of times. I love my PC master race, but I can definitely see the appeal with consoles. I mean, I'm purchasing the new consoles. I own every console. Not every console, but I own a lot of the consoles. I'm a console gamer too, but I usually lean towards PC, and I just think that this is a huge win for, obviously, Xbox fans, but also PC gamers as well. Olivia Wilde directing a Marvel movie? Yes, she is supposed to be directing some sort of Marvel movie. We really have no clue what it's going to be. There's been rumors. None of it's confirmed though, but she is supposed to be directing something for Marvel. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes, and if she actually will do a good job. It's always hard to say, especially with actors going into directing, because while it can be good and it can go well, most of the time I feel like it just doesn't go well when you go from acting to directing, especially when you have ideas like infusing predominantly male genre with female ideas. I'm not saying it's going to be bad, it's just that statement is very, very worrying, especially with the woke state of Hollywood. That's why I'm mainly concerned for it, is because obviously everything is woke these days. Don't be surprised if Sony buys Konami. I'm going to talk about that a little bit when we get to the Bethesda and ZeniMax acquirement by Microsoft. But there are a lot of rumors that Sony is looking into buying Konami, but I just want to say that there have been rumors about Sony buying Konami for a very long time. Over the past really 3 years it's picked up, but there's been a lot of rumors about Sony acquiring Konami. We had heard a couple of years ago that Konami wasn't interested in any sort of partnership, but that obviously could have changed. And I think, honestly, with the newest acquirement by Microsoft when it comes to Bethesda and ZeniMax, that Sony is going to have to respond. I don't think that Sony is going to be able to sit back anymore and say nothing. I think that this is a huge power play by Microsoft when it comes to the Xbox. Wokewood? I mean, that's basically what it is. Hollywood is wokewood now. Which sucks, because I'm sure most of us here love entertainment and love movies and TV shows, and I wish that the entertainment industry wasn't crashing and burning and catching on fire, but unfortunately it's just been going in a pretty bad direction, and it appears that it's going to continue to go in that bad direction, and that it's not changing anytime soon, even though it would be great if it would. I don't foresee it changing in the near future, unless they completely... I mean, I was gonna say unless their revenue completely tanks, but there's so many more movies now that crash and burn, so yeah, I guess maybe they already have crashed and burned. Hopefully the volume is good, you guys. Thank you, Frank, for the $5 donation. I do appreciate it. Did a notification pop up? I'm gonna replay that. It did, okay. I'm not crazy. It did. Thank you for the $5 donation, though, Frank. I do really appreciate it. How's the volume, you guys? Before we get into the topic, hopefully the background music isn't too loud. Hopefully. Possibly. I could take or leave the movie industry, so many rehashes. Well, the movie industry has definitely changed over the past couple of years, but I don't want the industry to just fail. I mean, at this point, I kind of do, in a way, because it's so bad, it's just so woke, it's so terrible. But on the other hand, I don't want the entertainment industry to just fail. Okay, it all sounds good. Alright, give me 1 second, you guys, and we will get into the first topic of the night. Whew, big night for announcements, big night for news, that's for sure. Konami is super trash, Bethesda are a bunch of a-holes, but they are not as trash as Konami. Konami has been trash for almost a decade. Well, that's right, just the unfortunate way that it is. Konami's been trash, is trash, and probably always will be trash. Bethesda hasn't always been a bad company. Bethesda hasn't always been a really shady company. Just... over the past couple of years, well, they haven't been the best. They haven't definitely been at the height of their company. If Sony wants trash Konami, they will be buying trash and Yu-Gi-Oh. Well, there's been rumors for a couple of years now that Sony was interested in buying Konami, and even though Konami's trash, I do think that that could be a huge acquisition for them. I don't want to say huge, it could be a big acquisition for them. But alright, you guys, we are going to get started with the first topic of the night. So, as most of us know, the PlayStation 5 pre-orders have already went up and have already passed. And so has the 3080 launch. The 3080 launch was a disaster, and so was the PlayStation 5s. Unfortunately, both of these tech launches went disastrously, and if you're watching this live tomorrow, the Xbox pre-orders go up. Hopefully the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X pre-orders go much better than PlayStation's. Microsoft's kind of been memeing on PlayStation and how awfully the whole situation was, but I really wanted to talk about both of the situations more in depth because, wow, were these situations a failure for multiple reasons. So the first article that I want to start out with is one from Forbes. PS5 disc and digital pre-orders continue to sell out nightmarishly fast. Now, if you were interested in getting a PlayStation 5, hopefully you got one. But there was a PlayStation event, a PlayStation 5 showcase, and basically after that event, it was said that pre-orders would start going up as soon as tomorrow. And we found out 3 hours after that launch, I mean, the launch of that event, 3 hours after that event had gone up, that retailers just decided to say, fuck it, and start releasing their pre-orders, putting their pre-orders up online. And unfortunately, we have to give a big thank you to Walmart, because Walmart was the first company to put the PlayStation pre-orders up, and of course, after Walmart does something like that, it opens the floodgates. Every company's going to open their pre-orders, because why would you wait an extra couple of hours? Who knows? But PlayStation 5 disc and digital pre-orders continue to sell out nightmarishly fast. One criticism of Sony's rollout of PS5 pre-orders this week is that they were dropped like a bomb without any warning. Or in fact, the opposite, a promise that they wouldn't start until a day later when they went live that evening. Yeah, that was the original plan, is Sony said tomorrow, when the event went up, pre-orders will start at select retailers. Now, it was very interesting wording. They said select retailers, limited quantities. They were using very interesting words. And 3 hours after that event happened, it came, it went, we came, we saw, we conquered, and boom, companies were listing their pre-orders. And a big problem with this was that companies weren't even sending out notifications. So they were putting up their pre-orders sneakily. No one was sending out email notifications, text notifications. I literally had every website on for notifications, and I got one email from Amazon when Amazon went live, because these companies were planning on doing it, but then Walmart did it. It opened up the floodgates, and every company decided to launch their pre-orders many hours early. We only have really Walmart to blame for that, because they were the bastards that started their pre-orders a day early. Xbox began to snarkily counter with an exact date and time that the Series X/S pre-orders would go live, but even when potential Sony buyers know when pre-orders are going up, that isn't helping either. So this was an article that went up the day after the PlayStation 5 fiasco happened. It says, last night there was a message on the Walmart website that gave a specific time that PS5 pre-orders would open. Everyone sat there on the page, ready for the clock to strike the hour, and about 30 seconds later, the stock was completely sold out. Whether it's seconds or minutes, trying to get your hands on a PS5 has been nothing short of a nightmare for many potential buyers so far, and that's across every retailer, be it GameStop selling out of their 12 units per store they were allocated in person reservations, or Megacorp Amazon selling out because someone found the link early. As expected, PS5 pre-orders are already popping up on eBay, topping $1,000. So yeah, I had called my GameStop, so I had obviously checked social media after the PlayStation event. I've usually got some sort of social media up, and people started pinging me going, hey, there's a big situation. The PlayStation 5 is already up for pre-order on some websites, and I was so confused. So everyone on social media started realizing that Walmart had put their pre-orders up. Now, Walmart pre-orders for the PlayStation 5 sold out in just a couple of minutes. Even though there was no big official announcement, they sold out in minutes by it circulating online. And then I decided, because Walmart had opened their pre-orders, let's call GameStop, because GameStop is useful sometimes. And my GameStop informed me, one of my local GameStops informed me, that they only got 12 units to pre-order out between the digital and the PlayStation 5 with the disc. And they said no one got big numbers. So people, after Walmart put their pre-orders up, instantly started calling GameStop, and most GameStops were selling their pre-orders. And then after Walmart did it, opened their pre-orders, and then GameStop opened their pre-orders, all of the other companies decided, why are we gonna be the dumbasses to wait? So everyone opened their pre-orders. I think next it was Target, which opened their pre-orders, and then I don't know who came next. I know Amazon was one of the last ones. Anyway, basically all of these companies started to open their pre-orders, and GameStop here only got 12 units per store at some locations. As it of course says, as expected, PS5 pre-orders are already popping up on eBay, topping $1,000. And I actually wanted to go over to eBay really quickly to look at this all with you. Scalpers fucking suck. Okay, we're gonna get more into scalpers with the 3080 discussion, but this has to do with multiple things. So, most retailers do have like a 1 limit per customer, 2 limit per customer type of deal. And besides that, most average people aren't buying more than 1 or 2 consoles. But this whole situation was a mess for multiple reasons. First of all, because no one knew exactly when the pre-orders were going up. They went up a day before they were supposed to. Plus, people have notifications set up for websites, and there are websites that unfortunately a lot of scalpers do use, and it pops up as soon as an item is listed, especially an item like the PlayStation 5. So they got their notifications, they bought them, which also doesn't help the fact that these are very in-demand items. We're talking about next generation consoles, PlayStation 5s. People are excited for the PlayStation 5, and we get to see situations like this. $8.99 for a PlayStation 5 with the disc. Store pickup confirmed order. $7.99 PS5 console standard confirmed order. $8.99. $7.99. 15 shipping. There's one here for $1,000. $4.99 bids, $1,000 freaking dollars. I mean, we've got the digital console, which is $3.99, selling for $6.99. And these are ones that haven't even sold. Let's go to the sold listings for a minute. Sold listings, $650. Okay, I guess $650 isn't that much of a big difference. Like, well, it's $650 plus $50. It shouldn't. No one should have to deal with this bullshit because of scalpers. Please don't purchase from scalpers like this. Even if you want the console really badly, this is not something that should be normalized. And we're going to talk in the 3080 bit in just a second about how companies really need to get their shit together when it comes to fighting off scalpers and fighting off bots. But $750, $720, $750, $799, $810, $900. Multiple $900 listings that people have bought because Sony fucking screwed up with the PlayStation 5 pre-orders. They really did. And scalpers are ruthless when it comes to especially something as looked for as the PlayStation 5. It says another aspect of this story, continuing with the article, is that many consumers who are landing a PS5 are not able to get the one they want. Sony made headlines when they revealed the all-digital console was $400 compared to the $500 of both the disc model and the Series X. But at least in this early batch of pre-orders, it absolutely seems like Sony has made way more of the higher-priced disc stock available, meaning that those lucky enough to snag a pre-order are often doing so for an extra $100, even if they have no interest in the disc one. Sony has said now that they are putting up more stock for the PlayStations over the next couple of weeks. They will be slowly putting more back up, but the digital version, $100 cheaper, like it says, sold out instantly no matter where you were trying to pre-order from. I mean, under 5 minutes, and I'd even say like under 3 minutes most of the time, the discless version was instantly sold out. And obviously the PlayStation 5 disc version is sold out everywhere now, but it wasn't selling as fast. I mean, 3 minutes compared to 10 minutes, guys. There's not that big of a difference, but they have messed up on multiple different fronts here, that's for sure. Now I want to go over to the part that I want to talk about with the 3080s, because the 3080s were only a couple of days after the PlayStation 5, and the PlayStation 5 launch was, well, it wasn't the launch, but the pre-order launch was absolutely disastrous. And I wanted to read this all to you because you might all not know how badly bots have gotten, especially when it comes to tech launches. And I thought that we could read through this really quickly to kind of all give you an idea, because the 3080s sold out in like 20 or 30 seconds. Under a minute of them going live, and they were sold out. So this is a PCMag.com article, how a bot bought dozens of RTX 3080 units before consumers could grab them. And we're not talking about a hot time either. These went up at 6 a.m. PST. So that's 9 a.m. Eastern. We're not talking about like a 3 p.m. or a 4 p.m. No, we're talking like 6 a.m. So PC gamers everywhere tried and failed to buy Nvidia's RTX 3080 graphics cards today as units quickly sold out. But not everyone came up empty. A group of resellers scored the RTX 3080s ahead of average consumers thanks to an automated bot, which was capable of ordering dozens of units from Nvidia's website instantly. The resellers have been taking to social media to praise the bot's creator, Bounce Alerts, a group devoted to helping its members score early access to retail products, such as sneakers, so they can be resold at higher prices. I'm not familiar with the sneaker industry, but I've listened to quite a lot of videos on the 3080 launch and how disastrous it was, and people saying that it is the same situation in the sneaker industry. The sneaker industry, because sneakers, some of them are special editions and are made with so limited quantities that they sell out this fast all of the time because of things like this. Based on social media posts, the bot was able to help one reseller score 42 units of the RTX 3080s from Nvidia's website before stock ran out. 42 to one singular person. Other resellers tweeted images showing they managed to successfully place orders for over a dozen units. A dozen units, just manually, not even by using this bot. 18 units right here. PC Mag spoke to an admin of Bounce Alerts who confirmed the group offered an automated bot to help members purchase the 3080 units on launch day. For $75 a month, members get access to bots and other information to help them quickly buy retail items from companies and resell them. Now, to me, paying $75 a month for a bot sounds fucking ridiculous. And I'm sure to most of you guys it does as well. But we're thinking, how much money did these people make off of this? So the 3080s, let me go to let me go to eBay really quick. Let me see. So the 3080s, $1,500. These things were selling for $699 on launch day. $699. They've more than doubled their money at this point. And that's why all these people don't care about spending $75 a month. They figure, yeah, I'm paying $75 a month, but I get my hands on one of these things, and I've already doubled the money that I spent. $1,500. Now these ones aren't sold. Let's go to the sold ones because I'm sure, unfortunately, there are plenty that were sold. Let me see. Hello, eBay. Do you want to tell me sold? Oh, these. Oh, excuse me. These are sold. $1,500. We're not talking. Maybe they made $100. Talking thousands of dollars for one item. Our job at Bounce Alerts was to ensure our consumers were able to purchase the product for their needs. Now, I understand that Bounce Alerts is a company. They're selling this service. They're trying to make money themselves. But the way that they're making it sound is like it's not a problem. Like, this doesn't really affect anyone else. Like, they're acting like they're offering a bot that lets you buy maybe 3 of an item. 42 to 1 person. A separate member of Bounce Alerts told PC Mag the bot works as an automated script to run basically from the product page to payment information and then to checkout. There's one of the images of the command prompt. This script would monitor when the product would go back into stock, and once it got alerted it was back in stock, it would check out, the member said. However, the bot did encounter a challenge. When the 3080 went on sale on Thursday morning, Nvidia's website briefly went down. So whenever the site died, I would have to restart the script and hope for it just to get through onto the next one, the member said. Later adding, we had several members who managed to get 1 card all the way to 30 cards or more. Ultimately, you can't stop people like this from creating bots to buy these items, and you can't stop scalpers from having to from wanting to buy multiple and buying multiple items like this. You can't stop scalpers for having multiple tabs open to buy these items, but you can make it as hard as possible for bots to buy these items. That's the best that we can hope for. Scalping is never going to stop. Scalping doesn't just happen in the entertainment industry. Scalping happens in every single industry. All we can do is make make protection that is better for websites and set limits for like to a customer and whatnot, and just try to make it more difficult for scalpers and for bots to buy up all of the items before real consumers can. It says, continuing on with the article though, the member went on to estimate more than 100 people downloaded and used the bot to make orders on Nvidia's website, nearly all of which will be resold on the secondary market. On eBay, you can already find hundreds of listings for the $699 3080 card for $1,200 to $2,000 and more. Now, there's actually another layer to this, is that there are people, at the beginning of this, I guess I should say, when the cards were first sold and these resellers were starting to list them, they do this sneaky fucking thing, okay? They do the sneaky thing by putting all of their items on bid. Okay, they will put these items on bid and shoot the bid prices up so that the cost, so most people who are reselling can sell them for $2,000 and it'll look normal to people. There was a bid that got up to like $40,000. Now, even though the card wouldn't even be bought for $40,000, it's still the fact that average consumers that don't look at tech would go on and see one sold for $30,000, $40,000. It's so rare, it's so expensive, that they look at $2,000 and go, oh, wow, okay, I can get down with that, and then they swipe their credit cards for it. Don't support people that scalp like this regarding anything, not even just technology. Anything. Shoes, tech, accessories, whatever it may be. In response, NVIDIA says it's going to manually review RTX 3080 orders made from the company's website to try and filter out scalpers and bots. NVIDIA also told PC Magazine it does limit each RTX 3080 order one per customer. But Bounce Alert says that it comes up with ways to circumvent those protections. It is good that they had the one per customer, but it obviously didn't do fucking anything. It didn't do anything, unfortunately. The news may anger PC gamers who failed to buy cards at normal prices. The NVIDIA forums are already flooded with angry customers who say they never had a chance to place an order on the company's website. I waited up for 35 hours waiting on this card just for bots to take over the site, and that's not fair at all. Well, maybe you should have slept in those 35 hours, but I understand where they're coming from. But the admin of Bounce Alert said consumers should blame the limited supplies on COVID-19 disrupting manufacturing. That is bullshit. Having some sort of service like this and saying, don't blame us that people got them, blame the companies making them because they didn't make enough. Every company is hurting right now. And I know that business doesn't stop, business keeps going. The industry, no matter what industry, is always moving. But a company like this definitely doesn't help when a situation like COVID-19 happens and manufacturing is disrupted and people can't buy the products that they want because they're in such limited quantities, and it just, of course, makes everything worse. That's all that I really had to discuss. The launch of the PlayStation 5 and 3080s have been complete disasters. Tomorrow I was going to say PlayStation 5, no. That already happened. Tomorrow, the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X pre-orders go up. I hope that they go smoother, but unfortunately, I think that they're going to sell out very fast. So if you are hoping to get your hands on an Xbox, just make sure when they go up at, I think it's 11 a.m., to be there, be ready. Hopefully, it does go a little bit smoother, but I think that they're still going to sell out relatively fast, especially with bots like this that are buying people up to 50 units a person. It is ridiculous that this happens, and it's ridiculous that people think that this is okay. Everyone's trying to get by. I know that there are people who are resellers, but there is a big difference between resellers and scalpers, and these are just clear out scalpers. And there needs to be different systems put in place to circumvent scalpers and bots. I know that companies like NVIDIA tried to make it so there was a limit of one per person, and I don't know if they had any sort of like two-step verification. I doubt that they did. But we need to figure out better systems to put in place because these ones aren't just cutting it. Yes, there is a rumor that the 3080 Ti will have 20 gigs of VRAM, so don't buy a 3080 off of the secondary market. Do not go on eBay and buy one for $1,500. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Don't support these people. Don't support the companies that are doing this and the individuals that are doing this. This can't be normalized. This shouldn't be normalized. But that's all that I had to discuss with that. We will move on to the next topic in just a moment. Not everything is struggling. Cleaning supplies, toilet paper, paper towels, etc. Right, not everything is struggling, but you have to consider things like that. They had a production problem at the very beginning of the virus because they weren't prepared for the numbers and the panic buying. They even had problems. They're not struggling anymore. But for the 3080s, there is a rumored 3080 Ti that has 20 gigs of VRAM, so hold off. If you didn't get one from NVIDIA and you can't get one from NVIDIA for the $700 that they are, don't support scalpers. Just wait. You probably won't regret it. I know that a lot of people really wanted a 3080. A lot of people have been waiting months to get a 3080 because no one wanted to buy a 2080 Ti until they saw the next cards. Just hold off. Don't support $1,500 products that are normally $700. It's crazy. Yeah, stores, a lot of stores ran out of things like toilet paper and cleaning products and paper towels. At the beginning, they were having quite a problem, but they eventually upped their production and fixed it. I still can't find rubbing alcohol. Poor Frank. Damn. I saw the leak of the 20 gigabyte 3080. People need to wait. Yeah, and if you could get a 3080 for $700, you're still probably going to regret not waiting for the 3080 Ti variant or whatever it's going to be called, but I still think $699 for a 3080 is fine. Not everyone is going to want to wait because the 3080s just came out, and we don't even know when the 3080 Ti will be coming out. There are people who have been waiting months to upgrade their card, and they decided not to maybe upgrade to a 2080 Ti or something because they were waiting for the 30 series to launch. We have no clue when a 3080 Ti variant or anything will be out, but I definitely say if you can't get it at $699, don't buy it. Just wait. You probably won't regret it. Just wait. Is it true that it's still hard to get a Nintendo Switch now? Nintendo has upped their production. They did say that they did kind of up it because of the demand, but there are people still saying it's hard to get a Switch. I remember when Animal Crossing came out, I really wanted to buy a Nintendo Switch Lite, and I didn't because I have a Switch, but I wanted a Nintendo Switch Lite for some reason. I couldn't find one, and they were awful. You couldn't find them anywhere. Couldn't find normal Switches anywhere either. They've gotten a little bit better. You can find them now, like, online, but they are still having problems where they do frequently go out of stock in stores. Plus now, other stores that are that did have Switches like GameStop, they're back open. Because at the beginning, like, when Switches were super out of stock and they were, like, actually being scalped and price hiked, you couldn't find them because the only stores that were really open were, like, Walmart's and Target's and Best Buy's. There weren't stores like GameStop's open, which they're back open now, but you can find them. They are still a little bit difficult to find though. I'll be happy with my 1080 for the next few years. Well, if you have a 1080, it might be time to upgrade. I guess it depends on what kind of gaming you're doing. 1080 for Cyberpunk, I wouldn't recommend. I have a 2070 Super, and I'm perfectly happy with dealing with that for now. Yeah, you can find used 2070 Supers for, I don't want to say relatively cheap, but a good cost now that the 30 series has been announced and people actually have their hands on them. I don't need ray tracing. Hey, it all depends on what you need. It all depends on what you need and what you're gaming. But alright, let's move on to the next topic of the night. So there's been this little rumor circulating over the past, like, 2 weeks. And I was hoping for a little bit more confirmation on it, and we have gotten quite a bit of confirmation on it. It's still not fully confirmed, but we've got more information about it, and I feel comfortable with talking about it now. There is a rumor that Pedro Pascal quit filming The Mandalorian Season 2 halfway through production. I really liked The Mandalorian. I thought The Mandalorian Season 1 was pretty good. And now we have a confirmed release date for Mandalorian Season 2. We know most of the actors who are in it. We know the general story. But it sounds like Pedro Pascal possibly could have quit filming during the middle of Season 2. We don't know. But the story sounds like he did. Or that there was some sort of situation there. So a new rumor claims that the Mandalorian actor Pedro Pascal quit filming the show halfway through the second season. The rumor comes from YouTuber Grace Randolph during her The Mandalorian Season 2 trailer reaction video. She first points to Entertainment Weekly's recent spotlight on The Mandalorian Season 2, where showrunner Jon Favreau notes Season 2 will introduce a larger story into the world. Favreau explains the new season is about introducing a larger story in the world. He adds, the stories become less isolated, yet each episode has its own flavor, and hopefully we're bringing a lot more scope to the show. Now, when you're first reading this, it sounds like a good idea. They're not tying themselves down with specific story that they want to go to. They don't want to go from one point to another. They kind of want it to feel a little bit different than a generic show that it's all following the one same character, but the more that you think about this, the worse that it sounds. I like the idea that each episode will have its own flavor, but at the same time, it could be really bad and nothing could feel cohesive and nothing could feel like it's actually telling a larger story. And I had this feeling a tiny bit with The Mandalorian Season 1. Season 1 was still really good, but I did feel like there were parts in episodes, and also just episodes, singular episodes in general, that kind of felt like they didn't progress the story enough, and they just were like filler content. And unfortunately, when you have a show that each episode has its own flavor and not everything is the big story and the main story, and it's not progressing that, things start to feel like they're not important, and then you in turn start to feel like, why am I even watching this? It's all just filler. Executive producer and director Dave Filoni adds, everything gets bigger. The stakes get higher, but also the personal story between the child and the Mandalorian develops in a way I think people will enjoy. When we hear an executive producer saying, I think people will enjoy this, sometimes that's not necessarily a good thing, because a lot of the times it's what they think will be good, and when they think it's good, it's not good. But here's the part that kind of has me worried. Favreau would then explain that they will be following different storylines outside of Pascal's The Mandalorian. He tells EW, as we introduce other characters, there are opportunities to follow different storylines. I'm worried that we are going to get to a point where the show has so many different characters that we've met and so many different characters that we've seen that it's going to feel not cohesive at all. He continued by saying the world was really captivated by Game of Thrones and how that evolved as the characters followed different storylines. That's very appealing to me as an audience member. He basically said here that he wants to go Game of Thrones with this. I really liked Game of Thrones. I think Game of Thrones was a really good show until the awful, dreaded last 2 seasons. When I say Game of Thrones is good, we're not talking about that shit. We're talking about the good Game of Thrones. And I really like the fact that there were multiple characters that you followed and you had these multiple storylines. But there were a lot of times during Game of Thrones where you weren't interested in specific characters, because specific characters, you didn't know about them, because it's like, let's say you have a 20 episode season and you have 4 different characters which are getting stories. There's always those characters that get way more screen time and the characters that get not enough screen time. And I feel like with a show that has 8 episodes a season, you can't do that. Now, they might make The Mandalorian into a show with more seasons. More episodes per season, which would be great. I'm all for more content, but we're talking about a show that the first season got 8 episodes. You cannot tell multiple storylines for multiple characters in a show with 8 episodes. You cannot do that. It is going to be awful. It's going to be just a clusterfuck if they actually try to do this with The Mandalorian. I think that it would be a great idea if they had more episodes per season. Even if they only had 12 episodes a season or 15 episodes a season. You cannot make a show with multiple different characters having focus when it's just 8 a season. You can't. Randolph notes this is evidence to back up her information, which she claims comes from 2 different sources. She goes on to note that this rumored row with Pascal began when the actor wanted to film a number of scenes with his helmet off. She explained while filming season 2, Pedro Pascal really wanted to have some scenes with his helmet off. Oh no, I lost my spot. Oh yeah, really wanted to have some scenes with his helmet off. However, she notes, the Mandalorian creative team wouldn't budge on this. She continues, so Pedro Pascal, from what I've heard from 2 sources now, was frustrated about this and was also pretty darn uncomfortable in the Mando suit on set, so he became difficult. When you're getting paid a ton of money, I know that it's hard to feel bad for these people, especially with the rumored budget that Pedro Pascal got for The Mandalorian. We're not talking $50,000 or $100,000 for the season in whole. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. But I do also kind of understand that when you're an actor and you're really into a role, you want to have some sort of say. And if he could make the character go to a different level with those emotional scenes, because we know once the helmet comes off, the emotions come out, I do think that maybe they should have given him a little bit more leadway on that, but it sounds like they just didn't, and they had an idea and they wanted to stick with it. So on one hand, I do kind of understand if it's true where Pedro would be coming from, but at the same time I understand where the creative team is coming from because it's their show, not his show. It's kind of that toss-up there. And the final straw, though, even though he was difficult to be around on set, the final straw was when he went to Lucasfilm, from what I've heard from my sources, to try and get them to intervene on his behalf. So basically, he didn't like the no answer that he was getting, so he went to higher ups at the company, hoping that they'd give him what he wanted, which sounds really shitty. Like, he didn't want to take no as an answer. We're not talking about accusations of someone being treated like shit on set. We're not talking about accusations of someone being underpaid, overworking hours. We're just talking about someone who got a no answer for what they wanted to happen with the show, and he kind of threw a fit over it. And you combine that with Lucasfilm already trying to get involved with story aspects of Season 2, which I've also heard, including focusing more on standalone episodes rather than making them connected, which I've heard the Mandalorian creative team wanted to do, which was kind of happening at the end of Season 1. Randolph then details that Pascal was asked to leave halfway through filming. So when Pedro Pascal went to Lucasfilm, and the Mando team was like, you know what, you should just go, and Pedro Pascal did. And that happened halfway through filming. I agree with what everyone in chat is saying. He took the part, he can shove it. There's a difference in my mind between an actor saying to their higher ups, I'm overworking my hours and I'm not getting paid enough, compared to, they said I couldn't do what I wanted with my character, change it. There's a big difference there. She later states, now as I've said, I've heard the breakup was pretty bad with both sides upset. Interestingly, in the same EW article that Randolph originally cites regarding Favreau teasing new storylines and characters, it also reveals that Pascal did in fact agree to take his helmet off to help Gina Carano film scenes. EW's James Hyberd writes, while former MMA fighter Carano, 38, who made her dramatic TV debut with this role, says she's more confident this time around, explaining she was helped by Pascal agreeing to remove Mando's helmet during their scenes whenever the camera was only on her. She added, I really wanted to see his eyes, which really helped. So it also sounds, though, like he did take his helmet off for scenes, which we don't know. It doesn't say really if that's filmed, if the parts with him that are filmed are with his helmet on, and just when it pans to her, the helmet's off, or if they actually recorded it, and the recording and the content we're gonna see is conversations with the helmet off. So there's a little bit of a misunderstanding there, but as Randolph notes, in the final episode of Season 1, Pascal does take off his helmet after he suffers what appears to be a fatal injury during a shootout with Moff Gideon's forces. So that's all that we know. It is a rumor, so of course, please take it with a grain of salt. I mean, Grace Randolph has always been pretty reliable. She has broken many scoops in the past. She has given a lot of insider information in the past, which has turned out to be true. So I do believe her sources. to an extent, because a lot of the time we hear things that aren't true. But that's all that I really had to talk about with that topic. It's hard because while I don't want Pedro Pascal to leave The Mandalorian, because I think that he was obviously a big part of Season 1, and he is a big part of Season 2, if he was giving the creative team a big problem, and he was being unfair to them, basically going to Lucasfilms throwing a hissy fit because he couldn't do what he wanted with his character, I would definitely prefer the show to lack the character, and subsequently the actor, instead of having the creative team have to give up their vision. Because I think that creative teams, a lot of the time, do have visions, and Season 1 was really good. I have a lot of faith in this creative team. I think that they can continue to do good, as long as they continue to go in the direction and even better than Season 1 went. But we don't know. There are rumors that he quit, that he's done with The Mandalorian halfway through Season 2. The character will potentially just ditch, MIA, and that's it. We don't even know how much he filmed, if it's going to be an awkward exit, if he at least filmed some sort of exit in the show, but I guess we'll have to see. He's always been a pretty good actor, though. I don't know how he's been behind the scenes. This doesn't really do him justice, but I've always really liked his acting. It'd be a shame if this all was true and he really did kind of throw a hissy fit, and that would just make me lose a lot of respect for him, and I've enjoyed him in previous parts, but wow. I haven't seen Season 1. Is it worth watching? If you're a fan of Star Wars, I definitely think that it is worth watching, yeah. While at times I do feel that The Mandalorian Season 1 lacked a lot of emotion, a lot of depth, I think that the general story was pretty interesting, and it did leave me excited for Season 2. Now, I guess we'll have to see how Season 2 turns out, because it sounds like maybe the story won't come together, especially if they want to have multiple character storylines going on through an 8-episode season. Netflix canceled Dark Crystal. Yeah, I wasn't going to talk about that too much tonight, but I will mention it. Netflix did cancel Dark Crystal. There's no confirmation why they decided to cancel it. Yesterday, actually, they won an Emmy for it, and today they're announcing that it's canceled. I was trying to read up on it because I couldn't find any confirmation why they canceled it, but it sounds like it cost them a lot of money. And while there was interest in it, the interest just wasn't what they thought it would be. When we have more information on that, though, I will talk about it more. But all there was a generic statement from Lisa Henson saying that they're going to try to look for another way to continue the story that Netflix started to tell. So it sounds like it wasn't their fault, it was on Netflix. That was the only thing I was looking forward to. WTF. Oh, Dark Crystal, yeah. I mean, Season 1 was pretty good. I would have watched a Season 2. I know a lot of you guys probably would have watched a Season 2, but it sounds like it just wasn't what Netflix was hoping it would be in terms of benefit, subscribers watching it. I don't know. It sounds like it was on Netflix, though, and it wasn't on the Henson family. Alright, so the next topic we're going to discuss is the second to last topic for the night. We are going to discuss some director rumors, and then we will, for the final topic, move on to Xbox and Bethesda. This is one... Look at this picture. This is one very, very interesting photo here. I heard that New Mutants was trash, so I'm so happy I'm so tired of gay washing and color washing. I've heard really mixed things on New Mutants, actually, because I've heard that New Mutants was, a lot of people liked it, but I've also heard that from a lot of people that it's mediocre. I've kind of gotten both sides of the spectrum. I've heard both sides to it, by people saying, yeah, it was good, and then other people saying, wow, that was really, really bad. See, we have people in chat saying New Mutants was trash, and then someone said it was okay. So, a little bit polarizing, I think. But yeah. Felt like watching a movie produced by the CW. That's a shame. It's a shame. Ugh. Alright. Frank's starting the conversation out. Save the tatas. Save the tatas, everyone. Alright, so the next topic of the night that I wanted to discuss is rumored Spider-Woman director Olivia Wilde excited to reframe superhero stories and infuse the genre with a female perspective. Now, I think that my internalized misogyny is going to come out a little bit here, because when I'm hearing the words reframe superhero stories and infuse the genre with a female perspective, I instantly am ready to, let me use the word once, cringe. This sounds at the basis of these quotes terrible, awful, very worrying, because of how woke Hollywood is. If Hollywood wasn't woke, I don't necessarily think that these statements would be concerning. But with how woke Hollywood is now and how we see movies going, especially with companies like Marvel, this is worrying. So, Booksmart and rumored Spider-Woman director Olivia Wilde recently opened up about how honored she feels to be able to infuse the superhero genre with a female perspective. Now, I want to say that I don't think it's bad for there to be female directors, especially directing superhero movies. I think that it would be awesome to have more females directing superhero movies. I'm not against it at all, is what I'm trying to say. But I don't really know if we should be saying infusing the genre with a female perspective. I don't really know if that's the wording that I would use. Wilde recently appeared as a guest on the Shut Up Evan podcast and was interviewed about her career by host and Netflix writer Evan Ross Katz. When the interview was turned to the topic of directing an upcoming Marvel film, Wilde shared with Katz her excitement towards the incredible influx of female directors and storytellers getting to take hold of this genre of the superhero space and infuse it with their own perspective. So, not only do I get to tell this story as a director, but I also get to develop this story, and that what was made it so incredible for me, she said. The actor-director also expressed the honor she felt in being amongst the wave of women who are showing up and saying, "We are not only going to step in and try to tell this story like men do, we're actually going to try to reframe the stories themselves." I think that when you have a female superhero, having a female behind the scenes, like, directing it, maybe is good. I don't know, because I feel a little conflicted, because the unfortunate examples that are used for female directors who have made their marks on the genre in recent years include Anna Boden, Captain Marvel, Kathy Ann, Birds of Prey, and Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman. Now, Wonder Woman was really good. The first Wonder Woman was pretty good. Patty Jenkins did a good job with it. We're hearing some very worrying rumors when it comes to Wonder Woman 2 that it kind of went in a bad direction. But the other two examples are awful. I mean, Captain Marvel was a pretty bad movie, and Birds of Prey was a pretty bad movie, just because of how woke they were about all the women power and all of the references that they made to men bad, women good. And I think that it could be done good. I think that Patty Jenkins did a good job in Wonder Woman, and I want to see more movies that do justice for female superheroes. I mean, let's look at Black Widow for a moment. We're hearing some rumors about Black Widow unfortunately being woke, referencing feminism and Me Too, and women are amazing. And I'm not saying that women aren't amazing because I'm a woman, but I think that we give so many opportunities when it comes to female superheroes that we're always just let down. Wonder Woman was great, but Captain Marvel was bad. Birds of Prey was trash garbage, one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I just said Birds of Prey. Black Widow doesn't sound like it's headed in a good direction, and even Wonder Woman 2 doesn't sound like it's headed in a good direction. I would love to see these amazing female superhero movies. I would love to see more superheroes that are women, that are what women empowerment kind of should be, like them just kicking ass and not having these woke shitty references in them. And I think that that's unfortunately what could happen based just off of these simple statements. And they are just simple statements, but it always starts with simple statements. And then it slowly escalates, and then we get to the point of Kathy Yan with Birds of Prey and Anna Boden with Captain Marvel. Wild was first reported to have signed on to direct a Marvel-related film in August, when entertainment news outlet Deadline reported that she had been tapped to direct an untitled female-centered Marvel movie at Sony. Given that any Sony-produced Marvel movie revolves around the Spider-Man license shared between the two companies, fans quickly assumed that Wild would head up a film based on the first Spider-Woman. The director further fueled the rumor mill by quote tweeting Deadline's announcement to her followers and adding only a single spider emoji as commentary. However, despite these strong signs pointing towards her undertaking a Spider-Woman project, the focus of her upcoming Marvel project has yet to be officially confirmed. I'm going to give her a chance. I always say this, I'm not someone that's just going to write someone off based off of one statement. Is this statement worrying? Yes. I will fully admit, I don't feel good about this. I don't feel good when she's talking about reframing superhero stories and infusing the genre with a female perspective. Those are very woke statements, in my opinion. But I want to see what she's got to offer. I want to see what type of story she wants to tell, because I think that female superheroes can be told so amazingly as long as they're just great characters and they're not women are better than men, fuck men type of stuff, and that's unfortunately what has been happening in Hollywood. So I'm not going to write it off. We're just going to leave this chapter of the book open, and in possibly a couple of months, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of years, when we hear some more confirmation about this, I will definitely update you all. And I hope that a Spider-Woman movie, if that's what it will be good. And it will do justice to female superheroes. But with that, we are going to close this topic off and move on to one of the last topics for the night, which is one of the most exciting, one of the most invigorating, one of the biggest announcements to happen in the game industry lately. Obviously, we're all very excited for the next generation of consoles, but this is bigger than the next generation of consoles, everyone. This is bigger than just a couple of boxes with pieces in it. This is big news. I will read chat first, though, before we get into the big topic, because it's a big one. When is Hollywood going to hire directors based on their talent and skill in making movies? I mean, instead of their gender? I mean, yeah. I think that someone shouldn't be hired based off of their gender. I think that someone should be hired based off of their skills and their talents and what they have to offer. And we're seeing that shift in mentality in Hollywood, which is just another downfall for Hollywood. Is that the director? She's hot. I thought she was going to be Spider-Woman. Yeah, she's the director. That's Olivia Wilde. This picture is from, I don't know, my brain can't work. This picture's from Tron. Yes, that's the director. Not Spider-Woman. But, hey, I mean, director acting in her own movie now? She is a very attractive woman. She hasn't ever made, like, super woke statements. I mean, she's made a couple of statements that kind of make me worried. But she doesn't have like a super bad track record like Brie Larson, so I have a little bit of hope in her. Just do a good job. So does that mean that Bethesda's games will be less buggy? There's a chance. There's a little bit of a chance. I mean, now, will that actually happen? I can't confirm or deny. Yeah, she should direct and act in the film. She should be Spider-Woman. I agree, guys. She should be I mean, she looks like she could play a good Spider-Woman. As we are literally just judging her based off of her physical appearance. Well, she's an okay actress. Yeah, she's starting to make the woke statements, which is unfortunately, like I said, how it happens. There's always one small statement made, and then it spirals. Yeah, Tron Legacy, my favorite. Alright, everyone, so we are going to start discussing one of the big announcements that happened today. Some breaking news regarding Xbox, ZeniMax Media, and Bethesda. So if you have all not heard, Microsoft has acquired ZeniMax Media, which includes Bethesda Softworks and all of its companies. So to start out, I want to read through the official announcement made by Phil Spencer, who is the head of Xbox. This is some of the, one of the biggest announcements to come out of gaming in a while. Obviously, we're all very excited for new consoles, and we've talked a bit about the next generation of gaming, but this is a huge power play move by Microsoft for Xbox. So welcoming the talented teams and beloved game franchises of Bethesda to Xbox. Critically acclaimed creators of The Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Wolfenstein, Doom, Dishonored, what a long list, Quake, Starfield, and more to join Team Xbox. Today is a special day as we welcome some of the most accomplished studios in the games industry to Xbox. Let's all take note that this announcement came a day before the Series X and the Series S pre-orders. Pretty interesting timing, in my opinion. Let's just make the biggest announcement that we could the day before the pre-orders of a console go up. We are thrilled to announce Microsoft has entered into an agreement to acquire ZeniMax Media, parent company of Bethesda Softworks. As one of the largest, most critically acclaimed, privately held game developers and publishers in the world, Bethesda is an incredibly talented group of 2,300 people worldwide who make up some of the most accomplished creative studios in our industry across Bethesda Softworks, Bethesda Game Studios, ID Software, ZeniMax Online Studios, Arcane, Machine Games, Tango Gameworks, AlphaDog, and Roundhouse Studios. These are teams responsible for franchises like The Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Wolfenstein, Doom, Dishonored, Prey, Quake, Starfield, and many more. Bethesda's games have always had a special place on Xbox and in the hearts of millions of gamers around the world. Our teams have had a close and storied history working together, from the amazing first Doom and its ID Tech engine, innovating games on PCs, to Bethesda bringing their first console games to the original Xbox, and groundbreaking The Elder Scrolls III Morrowind. Over the years, I've had many deep conversations with the creative leaders at Bethesda on the future of gaming, and we've long shared similar visions for the opportunities for creators and their games to reach more players in more ways. Just as they took the bold first steps to bring the Elder Scrolls franchise to the original Xbox, Bethesda were early supporters of Xbox Game Pass, bringing their games to new audiences across devices, and have been actively investing in new gaming technology like cloud streaming of games. We will be adding Bethesda's iconic franchises to Game Pass for console and PC. One of the things that has me most excited is seeing the roadmap with Bethesda's future games. Some announced and many unannounced. Many unannounced? What does that mean, Phil? Phil, want to give us an update? To consoles and PC, including Starfield, the highly anticipated new space epic currently in development at Bethesda Game Studios. Like us, Bethesda are passionate believers in building a diverse array of creative experiences, in exploring new game franchises, and in telling stories in bold ways. All of their great work will, of course, continue and grow, and we look forward to empowering them with the resources and support of Microsoft to scale their creative visions to more players in new ways for you. All of our work and the foundation of our relationship with you starts with a commitment to deliver a breadth of amazing games to discover and play on Xbox. Over the last few weeks, we've been excited to share more details on important elements of a plan we've been building towards for years. A plan that is a fulfillment of promise to you, the Xbox player, to deliver the most performant, immersive, and compatible next-gen gaming experiences, and the freedom to play blockbuster games with your friends anytime, anywhere. Today is a landmark step in our journey together, and I'm incredibly energized by what this step means for Xbox. Please join me in welcoming all of our friends at Bethesda to Team Xbox. These are huge games, huge franchises, with a huge, huge company. They have purchased ZeniMax Media and Bethesda for $7.5 billion. Now, can we all just keep in mind that Disney bought Lucasfilms and Star Wars for $4 billion? Ooh, Microsoft here isn't fucking around. Now, this could be... Now, I want to read this article as well, which is from Todd Howard. Some statements from Todd Howard. But this is massive on so many levels. Now, this could be huge for these massive titles like Elder Scrolls and Fallout and Starfield. Phil Spencer did say that they will be honoring the PlayStation 5 exclusives like Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. They did say, he did say that they are timed exclusives on the PlayStation 5, but we don't know what exclusivity will mean anymore. So there could have been a plan for them to be PlayStation 5 exclusives for like 2 years, or maybe like a year. Usually a year is the standard amount of time if a game is going to be an exclusive. Usually it's an exclusive on a platform for like a year. This could mean that they can just cut that exclusivity in half, and I bet that they will. I bet that they will cut the exclusivity for games like that in half. He's trying to say we're going to honor them, but it could be an exclusive for a month, and he'd technically be honoring them. If it was a year, I bet that they'll put it to something like 6 months, and that could mean that those giant titles like Starfield and Elder Scrolls might not be multi-platform games anymore, and they might just end up being Xbox and PC games, which would be a death blow for Sony. That would be such a bad thing to happen for Sony. I mean, this obviously is a big power play by Microsoft, but this could be a power play against Sony, who's possibly made deals with big companies like Square Enix. I mean, let's look at Final Fantasy VII, a huge franchise that Microsoft gets seconds of, most of the time at least. We know that Final Fantasy VII was a timed PlayStation 4 exclusive. Final Fantasy 15 wasn't, and recently at the PlayStation 5 showcase event, we saw Final Fantasy 16's announcement. We don't know if that's going to be a PlayStation 5 exclusive or anything, or if it was a timed exclusive. We have no clue, but Elder Scrolls, a game like Elder Scrolls, or maybe even Starfield, could be Microsoft's answer to something like Final Fantasy. I mean, we are talking about a huge franchise versus a bunch of huge franchises. I think that, honestly, this is going to force Sony to respond, maybe even by making a purchase themselves. There's been rumors over the past couple of years that Sony was interested in buying Konami. And Konami's kind of a shit company. I'll be honest, Konami's been shit for a couple of years. They are shit. They probably always will be shit. But there's been rumors that Sony was interested in buying Konami. And the rumors, of course, just today when this announcement was made have massively picked up because everyone's expecting Sony to make some sort of move for themselves. Sony has to do something. I mean, this is literally going to be a death blow for Sony if they don't. I mean, either way, I think that this is Microsoft flexing. Okay, this is Microsoft saying we are worth way more money than you, Sony, okay? We laugh at Microsoft, at your net worth, Sony, okay? Microsoft employees laugh in the face of Sony employees. This is a very big power play move, but I don't think that there's honestly much that Sony could do to flex at Microsoft and at Xbox. But we could possibly see something like some sort of company acquirement by Sony. What it would be, we don't know. But I wanted to also read through Todd Howard's statements, because obviously everyone's kind of been making statements that work for Bethesda on this. Xbox and Bethesda partnership is about more than one system or screen, Todd Howard says. In an announcement no one really expected ever, Microsoft has acquired ZeniMax Media, which includes Bethesda Softworks and all of its companies. This throws a huge wrench into the upcoming next-gen console war, especially with Bethesda-published titles like Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo being timed exclusives to the PlayStation 5. But according to Todd Howard, known for series like Elder Scrolls and Fallout, the trajectory of both companies has gone hand in hand in many ways throughout the years. From our beginning, we had primarily been a PC developer. In 1999, two things happened. Bethesda became part of a brand new startup, ZeniMax Media, and Microsoft started development of their first video game console. The Xbox. The Xbox. The Xbox. I can remember my first trip to Redmond to discuss the new system and bringing our games, Morrowind, to the Xbox. Howard had his doubts about the game running on the console, but Microsoft and their new crew had a view that I came to share completely. Shouldn't we allow anyone to have this experience? Why does it matter where the screen is or what the controller is? There are many people without the same access, and we can bring it to them. Morrowind would go on to become one of the best-selling Xbox games of all time, behind Halo, another PC-style game some said wouldn't work. Its success paved the way for growth of our company, and it proved the point. People wanted this experience regardless of device. I think that this is just one big statement for Game Pass. I know that people are saying this is a statement for, them supporting PlayStation still, and Bethesda totally wouldn't go into an agreement with a company that wouldn't allow them to put their games on every console. Man, no, this isn't the situation. They are saying all this because they're talking about Game Pass. This isn't everyone's going to be able to play it still statement. This is you can play it if you buy Game Pass. At least in my opinion, and in the opinions of a lot of other people. From there, the two companies collaborated on a number of projects, from Oblivion coming to the Xbox 360 to mods coming to consoles in Fallout 4. With each new console cycle, we evolved together. From the beginning, from bringing mods to consoles with Fallout 4, now over 1 billion downloads, to latest technologies fueling the Series X/S. Hold on a second. Oh, my live streaming dashboard decided to glitch out. That was fun. These new systems are optimized for the vast world we love to create, with generational leaps not just in graphics, but CPU and data streaming as well. It's led to our largest engine overall since Oblivion, with all of these new technologies powering our first new IP in 25 years, Starfield, as well as the Elder Scrolls 6. We're not talking about small games here. This isn't downtime for Bethesda. We all know that Bethesda definitely has, I want to say, in the eyes of consumers, gone downhill over the past couple of years, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're a bad company and that's the end of Bethesda. Howard also believes that this deal is more than about one system or one screen. We share a deep belief in the fundamental power of games, in their ability to connect, empower, and bring joy. We can't think of a better group of people to do that with other than those at Xbox. We have friendships that go back to those original days, from Phil to his senior leaders to developer support. They don't just talk about putting players first, they passionately live it. And of course it says the ramifications of Microsoft now owning Bethesda is that numerous titles like Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield could be available on Game Pass at launch, which they did say brand new Bethesda games will be on Game Pass at launch, so that is confirmed. However, this also means that various companies under media can benefit from the technical know-how and knowledge of next gen that Microsoft can provide. That's all that we really know, though. I mean, there's a lot of different things that could happen here. Microsoft, confirmed though, has made one of the biggest power plays in the gaming industry. I mean, them making this acquirement of ZeniMax Media, the parent company of Bethesda, is massive. And I think that at this point with this move, Microsoft is literally just flexing at Sony, going, we can lose any amount of money on these consoles. We can create any budget game that we want. We can do anything, and you can't do anything. I do think that Sony does have to respond in some sort of way, though. I know that the rumors about them buying Konami have been floating around for a while. I tend to not believe them because they've been floating around for so many years at this point. But if they're going to announce an acquirement, now is the time. But I thought it was kind of funny that they announced this acquisition the day before next generation console pre-orders. They want to make sure that everyone is ready tomorrow. They want to make sure that everyone, you've got your credit cards out, you are ready to buy a Series S or a Series X, and I think that this is huge. Companies aside, you know, what company rivalries there are, I'm excited about this. I'm someone who really loves Game Pass. I think that it's great. I'm someone who loves the Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Doom, Wolfenstein, Quake. I'm excited for Starfield. I think that this could be huge for gamers in general. Not even talking about companies and what it means company-wise. This is amazing for us gamers. Whether you're maybe not a PlayStation gamer, if you're an Xbox gamer or a PC gamer, I think that this is great news. And I'm excited to see what this could mean. What else we could get out of this. This means that a game like Elder Scrolls 6 probably will have an unlimited budget now. And we know that the Elder Scrolls 6 has been worked on for a couple of years now. It's definitely far into development, I would probably say, even though it is still a long time away. These games, these massive games, will have unlimited budgets. And maybe we won't see any more situations like a Fallout 76, and they can just go crazy with their games and go back to Bethesda. And let's be honest, all Bethesda games have always had problems, but I don't want Bethesda to have another situation like a 76. I want Bethesda to come out with good games and just give us what we deserve. If we're paying $70, $60 for new games, just make them good. Give us good experiences. Yeah, Nintendo's been doing really good. Game Pass is just getting better and better, and it was confirmed that day one games by Bethesda will be on Xbox Game Pass. I also read that about some subscription numbers. Obviously, Game Pass has been going up. It's been positive ever since Game Pass launched when it comes to subscription numbers. But apparently there are 15 million people roughly subscribed to Xbox Game Pass, which I thought it might have been like 10 million, 11 million. Apparently it's 15 million and growing. So I think that's why Microsoft really wanted to get more companies in. I mean, they've made a lot of acquirements over the past couple of years, but this is obviously by far one of their largest acquisitions, and I think that this is a great move. As a gamer of Xbox or PC, maybe not PlayStation, this is awesome news, and I really hope that Microsoft continues going down this good path, that Bethesda gets back up and fights, actually gives us some good games, and we don't have another Fallout 76, that's for sure. Huge amounts of money at their disposal, 100%. Huge amounts of money at their disposal. But that's all that I really had to discuss tonight, you guys. Tomorrow I will be making a full video about, the Bethesda, ZeniMax Media Xbox situation, but I wanted to give you all my first thoughts on it because it was just announced a little while ago. We talked about that. We talked about the rumored Spider-Woman movie. We talked about Pedro Pascal in Mandalorian Season 2, and we talked about the disastrous tech launches when it comes to the PlayStation 5 and the 3080. Tomorrow is Xbox pre-orders. If you hope to get an Xbox Series S or an Xbox Series X, I truly hope that you get it. I will be myself trying to get one. I hope that you guys do get it, though. You get one at least if you want one. And I hope that it goes much smoother than PlayStation's, because the PlayStation 5 was a disaster. Halo and Doom crossover? Possibly. That could be really good. But, alright, you guys, I'm going to go to the Q&A portion of the stream, so if you guys have any questions or comments you would like to make, please feel free to put them into chat now, and I would be happy to answer them. Final Fantasy XIV is the best MMO I've ever played, but it's not free, it sucks. Final Fantasy XIV is okay. It's okay. It's good. I mean, I love Final Fantasy. Don't get me wrong. I just feel like the MMO is kind of lacking in terms of MMO, though. I feel like there are a lot of elements that definitely could be better. But I like it. I couldn't get into ESO. The combat was just too boring to me. It's not gonna say smiley face? It's not gonna say smiley face? Thank you, Doa, for the $50 donation. I do really appreciate it. Thank you so much, smiley face. Smiley face, back to you. Thank you, thank you. I never got into ESO heavily. I like ESO. Now, I'm a huge MMO player. For those of you who are here, you might not know, I'm a huge MMO player. Huge. I play every MMO. Final Fantasy XIV is a pretty good MMO. I do think it's lacking a lot of things, though. It needs to be fixed a little bit. Elder Scrolls Online, I never got fully into. I played it maybe the first year of launch or something like that. Maybe it was a year after launch and I played it for like a year. I played quite a bit of it. It's definitely a game, though, that I do want to revisit. Yeah. It was good. Yeah, ESO is pretty good. I think, though, that it's still $15 a month, I want to say. I know that they just came out with a expansion for it, so you have to pay for the expansion, and it's $15 a month, I believe. I could be wrong. I think I'm pretty sure that now it's one of those games that it's like, you can play it free, even though it's one of those shitty free experiences when it comes to MMOs. August 6th why do they have this shit on their website? It says play free August 6th to 19th. Girl, we are in middle of September, almost October. Why do you still have play free up on your website, okay? Why? You need to change that. Change it. Xbox plus EA plus equals what? EA? EA's not part of this conversation. I know a lot of people have said I'm glad that it was EA. I mean, oh no. I'm glad that it was Xbox, Microsoft that acquired Bethesda. I agree. Let's not bring EA into this conversation. Girl, please. Girl, please. Take that shit off your website. Why would they leave that up there? It's middle of September. It's almost October. You're 2 months in the past. Do you really not care about your website that much? Right now, Heaven's Word is free, and Stormblood and Shadowbringers are packaged together. Interesting. I'll have to check it out. Maybe I would get back into it. Maybe I will repurchase whatever I need to for Elder Scrolls Online. Why did Microsoft buy Bethesda? Because Microsoft basically wants to flop their money penis at Sony And that's why they did it. Let me just put this into perspective for you guys. I mentioned this before. Disney bought Lucasfilms and Star Wars for $4 billion. Microsoft just bought ZeniMax Media and Bethesda for $7.5 billion. $4 billion compared to $7.5 billion. We are almost talking double the amount of Star Wars, okay? I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if it's hard for me to believe that ZeniMax and Bethesda are worth more than Star Wars, almost doubly more worth than Star Wars, but you have to consider Fallout, Doom, like you got Starfield, Elder Scrolls. I mean, we are talking about huge franchises in the industry, but wow, that's a lot. Flop their money penis at Sony, laughing my ass off. Yeah, that's basically it. Microsoft wanted to flop their money penis at Sony. Because Sony over there has penis envy of Microsoft. Sony can't do that. Sony is not going to go and buy a company for $8 billion. It's not ever going to happen. $7.5 billion. And Disney only paid $4 billion for Lucasfilms and Star Wars. I mean, that's huge. Video games are worth more than movies. Well, right, but you have to consider, I mean, for how many years now Star Wars has been huge. We're talking about, you know, kids items and you know, movies, TV shows. I mean, we're talking about so many different things, but you are right. Video games are worth more than movies. I was just thinking about the movies and the TV shows and all of that, but yeah. Yeah, Sony isn't even worth 10% of Microsoft. Let me put it that way. Huge number differences here. Huge number differences. Do you think Microsoft will sacrifice any studios? Why would Microsoft sacrifice any studios? Microsoft doesn't need to. Yeah, I hate EA too. It's unfortunate what happened to EA. I mean, EA's always been pretty bad. But what a bargain, Bill Gates. I mean, maybe to a company like Microsoft, they were like, $7.5 billion? How could we not take that? We obviously don't know how long this has been in the works. I would assume for a very long time, but we don't know how long it's been in the works. But, I mean, that's huge. This is a huge power play by Microsoft. But alright, you guys, I am going to end the live stream here. Thank you all so much for stopping by tonight. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed the live stream, please make sure to give it a like. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Please consider joining our Discord. We are very active there. I do ping you all when I go live in case YouTube doesn't notify you when I'm going live. I do also post my videos there. I don't ping you all when I post videos, but I do post my videos there too. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by becoming a Patreon. You can become a Dark Titan via Patreon, I guess is the better way to put it. For just $1 a month, I really do appreciate all of the support. Also, make sure to follow me on social media like Twitter if you do not. I do also post there when I go live, so multiple ways to catch up with the content, follow up with it. But tomorrow, I will be posting a video about the Bethesda Xbox situation with some more in-depth thoughts, but I really want to talk about it tonight because it was brand new, very huge announcement. But thank you all so much for stopping by, and have a fantastic night, everyone.